Ashokan Farewell is a popular tune widely mistaken to be a traditional piece of the Civil War era. Although portrayed as a piece of great historical value, it was in fact written in 1982 by a fiddle camp director named J. Ungar. The influence of Ashokan Farewell has been very widespread. Through time, this piece has been played in many contexts and has been arranged and performed by many renowned artists. J. Ungar and his wife Molly were the leaders of an annual fiddle and dance camp near the Ashokan Reservoir in New York. Ungar, in his sorrow for the ending of the camp season in 1982, searched to find a Scottish lament that could capture his sorrow. He was unable to find one, so he just began to play and later said that the tune, now known as Ashokan Farewell, just came out. This composing experience was very emotional for him, and he said that it brought him to tears. In 1983, Ungar and his band Fiddle Fever were recording their second album. In an effort to add another slow song to the mix, they tried out Ungar's lament, which hadn't yet been named. Ungar said that the arrangement came together in the studio very quickly. It was his wife, Molly Mason, who came up with the title Ashokan Farewell. It was included in Fiddle Fever's album titled Waltz of the Wind. The emotional power of Ashokan Farewell was eventually put into action in 1984 when filmmaker Ken Burns heard Fiddle Fever's album. Upon contacting Ungar and his band, Burns enlisted their help in creating the soundtrack for his new PBS series, The Civil War. Ashokan Farewell became the signature song of the series, being played through the beginning and ending of each series episode. In an account of Ashokan Farewell's history, J. Ungar reported that it was played for a surprising total of 59 minutes and 33 seconds of the 11-hour series. For purposes of this project, I will be analyzing a transcription for the piano that I found online. The melody of Ashokan Farewell is based off of a simple theme that repeats in several places throughout the piece. The theme begins with a 2/8 note lead-in, a note jumping a major third and ending with a half step. This example shows A, C sharp, and D, where D is a dotted quarter on the first beat of a new measure. The phrase continues with 3/8 notes, stepping down by whole steps. This rhythmic pattern repeats, with different note spellings, as part of one large theme. This theme is repeated twice in the A section and is imitated in the A prime section as well. Its characteristics are found throughout the entire piece, especially the 2/8 note lead-in. A similar motif with the 2-note lead-in begins and repeats in the B and B prime sections. The use of dotted rhythms appears to also be a characteristic of certain Civil War period pieces. For example, the Battle Cry of Freedom, written in 1862, shows similar elements of rhythm. In addition to these dotted rhythms, both melodies are anchored by lead-in notes. Similar rhythmic characteristics are also found in pieces such as the Battle Hymn of the Republic. In addition, the movement of the melody lines in Ashokan Farewell and the Battle Cry of Freedom are both somewhat static, most frequently moving stepwise, with occasional leaps, most commonly movements of a third. These characteristics seem to be prominent in Civil War era pieces. The form of Ashokan Farewell is quite simple. It consists of two general sections of equal length that are each repeated, forming an A, B, A primed, B primed structure. The phrasing is quite strophic, and within each of the larger sections are recurring themes. When considering the smaller themes of the song, it could be laid out as A prime, B, C, A double primed, A triple primed, B primed, and C primed, as shown in the chart. This piece follows a pretty simple chord progression. The first phrase of the A section starts on 1, goes to a 1 chord in first inversion, then to the 4, 2, 1, 6, 4, and 5. The second phrase repeats very similar patterns, with a few exceptions, like playing a 1 chord in the first inversion instead of a 6, and resolving completely instead of ending the phrase on a 5 chord. The first phrase of the A section ends with a half cadence. The second phrase closes with an authentic cadence, which marks a clear ending of the A section. The two phrases within the B section have contrasting chord patterns, since the second of the two contains ideas that haven't yet appeared in the piece. Similar to the A section, the first phrase ends with a half cadence, and the second ends with an authentic cadence. Ungar's piece is written in the key of D major with few accidentals. The most frequent accidental implemented is a C natural, creating a C major chord, which could be seen as a major flat 7 chord or the 4 chord in a temporary key change to G major. This occurs specifically in measures 11, 27, 43, and 59. The strongest examples occur in measures 29 and 59. Measure 27 is highlighted here. The temporary change serves as somewhat of a pivot point halfway through the B section and sets up the piece for a more solid cadence at the end of the next phrase. Many arrangements of Ungar's piece have been developed over time. This score shows the repeat of the A and B sections as being embellished to create a more dynamic texture the second time through. On A prime, starting on measure 33, the melody is taken up an octave. In addition to that rise in dynamic, a harmony is added below the upper voice to augment the effect. This harmony is somewhat consistently a sixth below the upper melody voice. When comparing a section of A with a section of A prime, there is a big difference. The beginning of A prime is the climax of the piece because of the new texture introduced by the octave change and harmonies. I have heard similar characteristics applied to arrangements for fiddle and other instruments.